George Clooney and Brad Pitt's new movie, Wolves, takes audiences on a wild ride of crime, betrayal, and comedy, building toward an ending filled with twists. The Wolves cast is led by the two veteran movie stars, both of whom play lone fixers who are called upon for the same job, forcing them to put aside their egos and work together. But what ensues is a multi-layered plot that involves both of them, their bosses, a mysterious district attorney client, and the kid, Austin Abrams. Clooney and Pitt's fixers spend the night working the job, which leads them to the middle of a gunfight between rival gangs at the final drop-off. As Clooney and Pitt deal with the Croatian gangsters from Dimitri's club event, the kid ends up hiding in the trunk of a car while the remaining gunmen kill each other off. They drop off the drugs, Clooney decides not to execute the kid, and they all depart. The final scene sees Clooney and Pitt's characters sitting at a diner mulling the evening over, where they finally put the pieces together on what's happened. Do Brad Pitt and George Clooney's fixers die in Wolf's ending? It's ambiguous, but a sequel is in the works, so probably not. The Wolf's ending sees Brad Pitt and George Clooney's characters eating at a diner when they realize something is off. Moments later, they notice that the diner is surrounded by armed gunmen there to kill them, and they prepare for another shootout before the movie ends. It's left ambiguous whether or not they die, and the movie ending pays homage to the classic Western film Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, where the movie ends as the two titular gunslingers are surrounded and about to fight for their lives. In the case of Wolves, the fact that Apple is planning a sequel for the film with the two leads set to return as their characters implies that they likely aren't dead. The ending pays homage to Butch and Sundance, a movie where it's implied that the two protagonists die. However, in Wolves, it seems more likely that they survive the encounter, escape, and live to seek out revenge on those who set them up. But this is all predicated on the idea that there will be a sequel. Until that sequel is official, the viewer can decide how they'd like to treat the ending's ambiguity. Wolf's setup and trap for Brad Pitt and George Clooney's fixers explained. Their mutual boss meant to have them both killed. Nick, Brad Pitt, and Jack, George Clooney, looking towards the camera, exiting an elevator in WOLF's image via Sony Pictures. In the final moments of Wolves, Clooney and Pitt's characters realize what's been at stake the whole time. The most important realization they have is that they work for the same guy, which allows them to re-examine the rest of their information. They quickly weed through the events of the evening and realize that the only way it all makes sense is that it was a setup for the two of them and that, for whatever reason, their mutual boss wants them out of the picture. Without more information, it's impossible to know why, but this will likely be explored if a sequel happens. Why the fixers don't reveal their names in Wolves explained. The Wolves are purposefully anonymous. In a car, Nick, Brad Pitt, Austin Abrams, and Jack, George Clooney, in WOLF's image via Sony Pictures. Brad Pitt and George Clooney's characters in Wolves never reveal their names, and this is crucial to their character development. The film offers some character study into the life of the crime fixer, demonstrating how the anonymity required for such a job would seep into one's personal life, with the fixer eventually losing his sense of self. It's important in Wolves that Pitt and Clooney's characters don't even remember they haven't shared their names until the end of the movie. Another aspect present is the fact that Pitt and Clooney's characters are meant to resemble each other. Even the kid says they're practically the same person. They're two sides of the same coin, and only in seeing each other do they finally catch their reflection in the mirror, realizing how distant they've grown from their humanity. Maybe they used to have names, and maybe those names carried meaning to them, but now they're just two individual guys who do a job no one else can do. Who Brad Pitt and George Clooney's fixers' real employers are. Both fixers share the same employer. Nick, Brad Pitt, drinking a Coke while wearing latex gloves in WOLF's image via Sony Pictures. The employers behind Pitt and Clooney are notably absent from the film, and this is intentional. Both of them are familiar with June and Dimitri from previous work experiences, but they aren't their bosses, merely clients. The most important aspect is that their real employer is the same person, as it means they've spent much of their lives working under the illusion that they were the only one. The revelation that such a significant portion of their careers has been a lie is game-changing to them and instantly shifts their perspective. Why the fixers don't kill the kid in Wolves. The fixers want to retain some part of their humanity. Austin Abrams talking to George Clooney in Wolves. As much as Brad Pitt and George Clooney are reflections of each other in Wolves, the kid is a representation of something they've both lost. He may have gotten mixed up in some bad business, but he comes off as a deeply innocent person that allows the fixers to remember their own humanity. Clooney's character contemplates killing him, and Pitt's character offers to be a secondary gunman in case he can't bring himself to do it.